You're listening to Brazen Exchange.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Brazen Exchange. I'm your host, Vanessa Emadi. We have come to the end of the series. I hope you had a wonderful time meeting our guest, from the AC technician down to the photographer, health professional. It was such a wonderful experience. This series was actually inspired by my sister. At the time, she was seeking entry level roles, and it was such a headache getting one. We know these things. We come online and you're trying to apply for a job that you think you're qualified for, but then you see the how many years experience required, and it's like, but this is an entry level role. Why are they asking for 2 years and above? But then we actually see the ones that ask you for that has 0 to 2 years experience level. She showed me one where they said an iPhone was required. And in my head, I'm like, why are we asking candidates to have iPhones? Did you buy the iPhone for them? Why is this a requirement? It's like the requirements get ridiculous day by day. It's like they just, how much recklessness can we display? Can we demand? How far can we push the buttons of our applicants? And how far are they willing to go to get this job? It looks like that's the order of the day. It looks like that's the game. Every time she was applying, she'd be telling me about these roles. And I just thought, this is crazy. And then somebody will come online and say, the Nigerian youth are lazy, or that the Nigerian youth, there's no talent. Please, your requirements are ridiculous. Okay, 0 to 2 year experience. You should be looking to train these people. These are entry level roles, right? The aim of these roles is that you learn on the job. How are you now expecting these people to, one, have so much experience? Two, some will even tell you you should have certifications. You should, congrats to those who have those certifications that are required, but these are entry level roles, right? The primary structure of that role is to train these people. You train them, you pay them, you get your money's worth, and they become fully integrated into your organization, right? And then the next set of people are released again from university. You push out entry level roles. That's how you contribute as a company. That's how you build the economy of your nation as a company, as a job provider. Anyways, there was one in particular, I think this was a PA role, and that was the one who had asked for the iPhone. And it's like, wait, there's a difference between being a PA, first off, being a PA, and then being a content creator, being an errand person. But they want all of these things in one. So wait, I'm your PA, and then I should also use my iPhone that I bought with my money to be your videographer, to be your photographer, to be your video editor, to to be all of these things. I'll still manage your calendar. I'll still book meetings for you. You still send me on errand to buy food for you. You still send me to buy food for you. You still send me to pick up your. What are we doing? What are we doing? So the whole point of the series was to let the youth know that, you know what, there are youth out there who are doing other things. If you look back on the series, we mostly had entrepreneurs. So this was to show the youth that there are different ways to get into the markets. There are different ways through which you can earn a living. All legal, by the way. Different ways to become a person of substance. Different ways. You don't actually have to subscribe to indignity, because some of these jobs come with indignity. The whole point of having a job, first off, that job should bring about dignity. That job should be dignified, right? It should come with respect. There should be collaboration. These are the things that you imbibe into your staff when they come to work at your organization. Dignity. They should be happy and proud to say, I work at this organization. The things that they didn't learn in school, at home, where they are coming from, they should pick up those things. They should learn it at your organization. But these job roles have shown that, especially if you're an entry level applicant, it has shown that they are looking for different ways to exploit people. So they say, okay, we are saying 0 to 2 years experience, but that means we are going to show you shiggy. There was one she showed me. I got so pissed. I I got on my LinkedIn and I ranted. Why? I think this one. So this one too, same thing. They are hiring you for one role, but then if you look at the job description, you are going to be web designer, web developer. You're going to write content. You're going to do content. You're going to you're going to make calls. It was an intern role as well. So like they packed all of these things on just one person, and then they had the audacity to tell these people to come physically for that interview. So you're going to show up physically for an interview where you want to exploit them. At the end of the day, only one person will get that job. Are you not ashamed? So yes, our youths are not lazy. Our youths are full of talents. They need structure. And the whole point of the organization, one is to provide structure, two is to provide income. In fact, one is to provide income, two is to provide structure. The structure that you think Nigeria's workforce or Nigeria's economy, you are always the one saying the government has this, government should do this, government should do that. But then, as an employer, you are worse than the government. You say, oh, the government is not doing this, government, but then you are not doing what you're supposed to do for your staff. So why are you blaming the government? The government is you and you are the government. Why are you blaming the government? You keep saying, oh, the government has not done this, but then you're not showing up as well as a good employer should. And that's why there's burnout. That's why there are people who are leaving. They don't even I hear of stories of my Gen Z. Power to you people. They come just one day and they look at the environment and they say, okay, adios, peace, I'm out. And they leave. They don't even bother to show up. Some will wait to collect 1 month's salary and then they will go away. But really, is this what we want for our workforce? Like, there's no way this workforce can grow and be better if these are the tales, these are the experiences of the workers. Talking about indignity, you can actually be at a job where you earn 300K and above, and you are part of the cleaning rota at your place of work. And when I say you're part of the cleaning rota at your place of work, it means that every week, each staff member is required to clean the office space. The first time I heard about that, I thought, that's crazy. You know, how you're hiring me for my brain, you're not hiring me to clean, but then you want to get my brain and my cleaning skills all for 300K and above. Just what level are our employers willing to go to strip people of their dignity? How is somebody an IT officer and then by close of work, the person has to clean the office, and when they resume in the morning, they have to dust the chair, sweep, mop, and then sit down and start the work for the day. Why don't we have cleaning crew for that? Why is the staff running a cleaning rota? It doesn't make sense. Unless I don't know, I doesn't it sound off? If it's normal where you are, please let me know. Share in the comments. If it's something that happens and maybe it's just I'm just not aware of it, please let me know because places I have worked at, places I don't even have to work there really. That's why you're an employer of labor. You hire the cleaning crew. You're all about the well-being of your staff. There are people whose job are to clean. There are people whose job are to drive. There are people whose job are to procure things from the market. There are, like there are levels to these things. There are people who there are organizations that are actually structured. There are people who clean, who everybody knows where they belong. And then you're expecting somebody who you hired not to clean, but you hired this person for another kind of service that they can render to your organization. And then you tell them that part of their job is to clean. and that at least they are earning over 300K and above. They should be happy because not everybody earns that amount. If this doesn't sound weird to you, let me know. But that shouldn't be the case. A workplace should be one of dignity. And that's why even as somebody who cleans in an office space, it should also be one of dignity to say, oh, I'm a cleaner at so organization. That's my job. I take pride in it because that's what I'm hired to do. But when I'm hired to do something else and then you tell me that I'll also be cleaning as well, I don't even want to know how much you want to add on top of my salary or whether that salary is covering both the cleaning and my official job. It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be done. You have to hire people for different things, for different services. Jobs should be about dignity, about respect, collaboration, and other things. Values are things that your organizations should be preaching in the different services that your staff render. In carrying out their service, your staff should be learning integrity. Your staff, not even learning, they should be practicing it, right? Accountability, transparency, fairness. I should be able to entrust my staff with a certain task or even a certain fund and know that, okay, this project will be managed accordingly. But when I treat my staff anyhow, or I come on a meeting and I'm just displaying recklessness, what kind of message am I passing on to my staff? I was privileged to witness a meeting. I'm not a part of this meeting, but I was in the area where this meeting was conducted. And when I saw how the boss appeared on camera, I said, Haba, now you know why the staff is the way the staff is. Now you know why things are being done that way in that company. Because it's the truth. Once the head is rotten, the entire body is rotten. You clearly lack discipline. How are you expecting discipline from your staff? These are values that we should be teaching staff. These are things that when a staff comes to your place of work, there are certain things that they should not do. There are certain things that they should do. And it's like a thing of pride that, okay, my place of work, these are the things that we do, these are the things that we don't do. There are places of work where you use the fingerprint scanner to mark attendance, to note down the time, your time of arrival, right? And then there are places of work where they use the book. Your organization should be the type where a staff comes in, and even if it's the book, a staff knows that, okay, I cannot write, let's say you use it by 8 o'clock, I cannot write 7:59 10 times. Like you definitely came past 8, but then you come on the register and then you write 7:59, 7:52, 7. There are values that your organization should be imbibing into your staff. Honestly, school is never out. As we continue to grow, you continue to learn. Your organization should constantly be a place of learning. But if you think, okay, I'm just interested in the outcome, just give me the results. You don't care about the values, how they go about it. The one is just at the end of the day, this, what they call it, there's a word they use for that thing. Is it key performance? It's your KPI. Your KPI. These are your KPIs. Yeah, every month you should do this. You have this, have that meeting, have this, have 10, this, have. If that's the only thing you're concerned about, you have failed, though. It's a fail. You have failed as an employer of labor. You have failed. You should be more concerned about the well-being of your staff. About what am I teaching the staff that like even if the staff decides to leave this company, I know that the next place you are going to, they will know that you are coming from somewhere. I always want to work in a place where I'll be proud to say, oh, I'm working at so and so organization. That you can even reach out to my previous boss and say and ask, how was Vanessa? And they can tell you, oh, that's the kind of value I want to bring. That's the kind of organization I want to be at. Not the place where you are asking me, where do you work? And I'm giving you vague responses because I can't even utter the name because I am ashamed of where I'm working. That shouldn't be the case. So we need to start taking pride in our work, what we represent as an organization. We need to start taking pride in that. Maybe when you start taking pride in, okay, how you're being represented, when you go for events, how they till today they always say Covenant University graduates, the PR is astounding. You just think of CU graduates and you're like you cut cap for them because you expect excellence, you expect because of how they've branded and represented themselves. You don't even know how the teaching is like, but you just expect that okay, because it's CU Covenant University, then it has to be great. It has to be great. That's the kind of packaging. Well, let me not say packaging, but that's the kind of value of like you need to take pride and not just take pride in that you're, but because you're actually doing the work, not just taking pride that oh this man, but because you are doing the work, you're actually taking care of your staff, you're instilling good values in them, dignity, respect, collaboration, integrity, accountability, transparency, not all the excellence, not all the time results oriented. Which other one is what? See, there's so many things I see on all these websites. Results oriented, creativity. Please, AI even now AI is even creative. I'm teasing, but you get what I mean. But all these other values, these are things that are taught, and as they keep working in your organization, they keep imbibing these things. I'll never forget growing up where I was as a youth worker. Honestly, one of the things I picked out, and I was telling my sister today, one of the things that I picked out from there was that it said, wherever you are, wherever you're posted, because we have several departments. So wherever you are posted, take that place as your own. Take it as you are the one who owns that place. So that the way you will treat it with so much care. It and it's not even about whether you're going to get rewarded at the end of the day. No, it was never about that. It was about you just taking ownership like, okay, this thing is for me, this place is for me. If there's anything that is wrong, I should speak up about it. If there's anything that is not, if there's a paint chip, if there's something, if the chair is not fully, like if the chair is shaking, if the table is, I should be able to call and say, oh, please, what people who fix this thing? I've noticed, like, can we get it fixed? That's where I'm coming from. So I took that every single place I went to. I'm the kind of person who would go to an organization and let's say I'm coming to the reception and I want to use a hand sanitizer and I discover that the hand sanitizer has finished. I'll call the attention of the people. They're like, "Oh, please, oh, are you aware this hand sanitizer has finished?" And they'll be like, "Oh, Vanessa, thank you so much." And they call whoever needs to replace it. That please, hand sanitizer at the reception has finished. And within 2 3 minutes, a staff is coming down, and that's the staff who handles that department, the cleaning department, and they come and they say, okay, yeah, sure, and they replace it. Like, like that has been my experience. I work in places where I'm like, oh, this thing has happened, and but that's because of where I'm coming from, the things that I learned where I'm coming from. They instilled that value in me, and I've taken that thing every single place I've gone to. I always say that when I leave, even if you don't remember me for anything, you will know that if Vanessa was here, Vanessa would have called out this thing, Vanessa would have done this, Vanessa would have done that. If that's the only impact I have in your life, that's fine. But that was a value that I picked. That was an attribute I picked from where I was coming from the first place that ever trained me. And the training is still speaking till today and even tomorrow. Those are the values that a place of work should instill. So you should make your place of work so conducive that employees will be the one championing what you do, championing those values. When new people come in, they'll be the one saying, "Oh no, this is how we do things, and we don't do things like this." Like we need to start taking pride. Okay, let's do better. Employers of labor, on behalf of your employees, we ask, please make your place of work a place to be. If your place of work is a place to be, I've seen employees who would rather stay at a place of work until past 7 just because they don't want to be stuck in traffic. But imagine if your place of work is so terrible that I rather leave 4:59. I'm already looking at the clock. I want to be out of here so that I rather be in that traffic than to stay at that office. On behalf of employees, I'm saying let's make our places of work a place to be so that lives really can be changed. It's not about the result. It's not about the outcome. It's about your staff as well. We always say school passed through you, pass through school. You also pass through your employees. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's take pride in our work and in our position as employers of labor. I can bet you all these things that people are saying about talents and youth in Nigeria, this will not be in the same conversation. I'm telling you, the moment you start to put structure, you start to put values, all those talk that people come on stage and just be chatting rubbish, in all honesty, it will not happen again because you are taking pride as an employer of labor. Therefore, that pride is passed down to your employees to now champion what you're doing. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that like, and it builds the economy. It really builds the economy. Now imagine a parent, and this thing is not just for your staff, it now passes down. That staff goes home and starts to imbibe those values in their family. They notice something in their household and they say, oh no, why don't we do it like this? Because I learned at my place of work that if something like this happens, this is how we should do it. Like, ding, 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 ding. Like, isn't that like, aren't you winning? That's how it should be. I want to be able to come to my house and say, oh, I saw this thing at my place of work, or I think we should do this here. I think we should. Or my place of work always smells so fresh. There's something always like burning or something really like smelling really nice. And so I want my house to also carry that flavor, like carry that fragrance everywhere. My place of work has this thing, has that thing. I also want to put it in my house so I can continue that lifestyle that I like. Your place of work should be a lifestyle upgrade. You don't know. Yeah. Yeah, like you're telling your staff, okay, this is how things are, this is how things should be. And they carry that same thing back home and they tell, my place of work has that. Me too. That's how you upgrade people's lives. So I can't say that kind of staff all pressed up, wearing their best, entering bus, and now fighting with conductor. I don't see that staff doing that kind of thing. It's have to be like, where I'm going to. There's something ahead of me. Let me respect myself. If this person does not respect himself, let me respect myself. Even if it's to dash them that if it's 500 naira change, keep it. My future is much more brighter than this. That's the kind of message your organization should be passing across. So if you're not ready to step up, yeah, then you're going to keep having employees who don't care about your business, who don't care about your job. They're just waiting until payday and then they collect their money. And some don't even bother to resign. Some just don't bother to show up. And if you're the company who gives gadgets for working, you just see your gadgets being delivered by a motorcycle, a dispatch rider, and they're telling you adios. You're not doing again. We need to do better as a society. We need to do better as an organization, as an employer of labor. You know what you can take. In fact, let's not even say you know what you can take. You know what you would want as an employee. Like, if I was the one working in this place, this is what. Think about that and then now think, what can I do to make the lives of my employees better? Staff welfare. Do you know there are some organizations that don't have staff welfare? They don't. And then you come and tell them you want them to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you want to pay them peanuts. It doesn't work like that. So please, it was really just to encourage the youth to say that there are different ways through which you can make money, all legal means. If it means going to go and learn a skill, then for the meantime, do that and earn a living until what you want comes along the way. Some of the guests on the series, it wasn't their first choice. It wasn't what they wanted, right? It was something they found along the way when they were thinking, what should I do next? Where's my life going? And then they stumbled on these jobs. And today they are doing well for themselves. They're their own employers. They are also employing people. They are also teaching people. They've become tutors. They've become people who pass down knowledge. They've become people who are training the next generation of workers. That's how it should be. They went from being people who were seeking jobs to people who now have jobs and are now giving out jobs to people, making the lives of other people better. So I do hope that you enjoyed this series. And if you've not watched the entire thing, I want you to go back, start from episode one down to episode six, and tell me what you think. Share your thoughts, your comments. How would you want the workforce in Nigeria to be like? What are the benefits that you think are lacking? I once talked about on LinkedIn, I once talked about how paternity leave should be extended. So I was always rolling my eye because this also from my sister. She worked at a place where the paternity leave was 1 week. And I just thought, why is a paternity leave 1 week? Is it that they think men are not needed in the upkeep, in the development, well-being of their new families? Because your wife just gave birth. Of course, she's going to get about maybe 4 months and above maternity leave. But then you, the father, now gets just 1 week. It didn't seem fair. And it's not even about fairness now. It's like you need all the help that you can get, especially in this time when having a community is dying. That community structure that our parents used to have back in the day is dying in our generation. So the wife needs all the help she can get from her husband. And then you're taking that person away to return back to work after 1 week. That's what will happen. You think the person is going to focus when he knows that okay, oh, my baby, that's a week old baby. Are you aware? And you're giving them just 1 week. Like, this is crazy. So yeah, think about all the things that are missing, that are lacking in our workforce, and write them down in the comments. What do you think the government needs to do? Like, are there laws that we need to enact? Are there policies that we need to fix? Because the labor laws in Nigeria, we've seen from previous series, is lacking, and employers are taking huge advantage of these things. I don't know how it is in other places, but that's the beauty of this podcast. Please share. How is it in other states, in other parts of the world? We want to know, we want to learn. Let's learn from one another, right? It makes sense that we pick out things that will benefit us, and then let's talk about the things that are not working and how can we eradicate those things. How can we make our policies better? How can we make the workplace better? So that was the whole point of this series, and I'm glad that I got to do this and to talk with you and share my points with you and the reason behind this series. And yes, once again, oh, I've not done this for yeah. Thank you, Sissy. My siblings used to say that I used them I use them as inspiration for so many things, and that is true. Yeah, my brother can tell me about something that's happening where he is, and the idea will just come in my head. And you see me, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm typing, I'm firing away, or I create a podcast, or rather a series or an episode of that thing. On that note, I want to announce that we'll be taking a break. We'll be taking a break and just to recalibrate and think of what next to do, how to make this podcast bigger and better for your enjoyment and for my own growth. Yes. Till next time on Brazen Exchange, I'm your host, Vanessa Emadi. Goodbye.